okay, I'm like okay at anatomy. I'm decent, not the best. But basically, when you draw anatomy, like before, you kind of want to like proportion everything out. Like measure with your pen and stuff. So what I have here is just basic human anatomy proportions for male and female. As you can see, the male is kind of a bit bigger. The male is 8 and almost a half heads tall, and the female is only 8 heads tall. So what I usually do when I proportion this out is I measure by like how many heads there are. I just said that. But you want to be like, the first line is like at the end of the chin, obviously. And then the second line wants to be like right where the, and then sorry. Then the third head, you want it to be right where like the belly button should be, like the navel, whatever the technical term is. You want it to be right at the belly button. And then the next one, you want it to be around like mid-thigh kind of. And then the next one you want to be at the knees. Then here like mid-calf. And then here at the toes. I know some of them are kind of messed up because I didn't do this right, but this is basically how it should look. And with the men, it's basically the same thing, except the nipples are a bit lower. Same thing, basically. And then, but once you kind of figure out the basic human proportions, you can really kind of skew it and make like something different. Like I drew this today, and whenever I draw like a full body thing, I always like measure it out and like see how many heads it is. Like here I have this alien thing. It has a longer torso and like shorter legs, I guess. Like, and then the legs are like, the calves are a bit shorter, or not the calves, the thighs. And the shoulder width is not 2 heads across. So, but when you draw like anime, cartoony style kind of thing, the head, like regularly the head is supposed to be like the width of the chest here, but not always is it like that. And next I'm going to talk about like the muscles and stuff. Whenever I want to make like a weird creature drawing or anything, it's always good to remember human anatomy. Like here I have like some rib bones. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like see there's some, there's the ribs like right here, and then just little stuff like that. And then here there's like the calf muscle that's usually like right here. I don't know what's it called, the quadricep, something like that. And just basic stuff like that is always good to remember in case you like, can't find a page. And so what I usually do, it's always good to have like a reference on hand, because you know you can always forget like where the bicep is or whatever. I don't know, you might have like amnesia. I don't know, something might happen. But I always have like a good reference with me when I'm drawing anatomy. Like this male anatomy took me like 20 years to draw because of all the muscles and stuff. And so, but you don't want to make it look like it's flowing against the body. Like when you draw a leg, like say, you don't want the muscles to go like that way or something weird like that. You always want it to kind of flow with like the other lines. Like there would be a muscle here that goes like that, and then you would have like those muscles and whatever. But you really don't want it to flow against the body. I don't know if you can see that. And eventually, you just kind of need to eye it, and you can't really rely on, like eventually you'll just be able to eye it, and you won't need to use a reference as much. But then, so I'll draw like a thing and show you like the different types of like how you can skew the proportions a lot. So I'm gonna do like an anime character because a lot of you guys like anime stuff. Okay, it's like kind of crappy, but usually when, not all the time, but when I see like anime type drawings, the girls always have like super like skinny legs with this huge like black hole gap between them. So, and the proportions, like the heads are usually bigger, and if you measure it like from here to here, it doesn't, it's a bit bigger than the chest, like it would end here. But yeah, like I'm really bad at this anime-ish stuff. I used to be really good at it.
Think like she doesn't have muscles, it's like skin is stuck to her bone.
Yeah, like there's no muscle definition unless you're watching like that basketball one. Kuroko no Basket, then they have like huge silicone injection muscles.
Oh god.
Or something like that. Dragon Ball Z.
They're all on steroids and Dragon
Yeah, they're all on steroids. Like, so it kind of like shows you, like for feminine characters, they usually have like no muscle whatsoever, but then the masculine ones are just like huge like beasts with like
What is that?
it's a Baymax. But that's like that's anime, you guys. Welcome to the club. But then if you kind of want to do a more cartoony kind of thing, like you know Kim Possible? Does anyone know that show?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that show is great. Like, I remember a lot of the, like, what's his name? Ron?
Yeah.
The redhead guy. He has, like, a really, like, here's his pants. Like, it was really like that. It looks like he pooped, but whatever. Ignore that.
That's cartoon.
But, like,
the Americans.
Like, the shoulders were really, like, narrow, and so was, like, the chest was really narrow.
The drawing style, the body was very angular.
Yeah.
Simplified.
Yeah, and that tends to be the case with a lot of Teletoon kind of Cartoon
Not
Network.
Teletoon, but like Western style cartoons.
Yeah,
Sort of break them down to the basic sort of polygons.
yeah, that's what they tend to do. Like on Cartoon Network and stuff, they break it down to the most basic shape.
Like Adventure Time, none of this stuff is very detailed.
Yeah, Adventure Time is beautiful.
It's a good show, and I really like the art style, but like it's really simplified.
It must be so easy to be an animator from that show.
No, because the animation is really smooth. Do you know how hard it is to draw all the things? Like, girl.
Demi, thanks for the PSA.
You're welcome.
So when I do poses, I used to go to this art school where they taught us how to draw things. Just in case you didn't know.
That's what art schools teach you. Yep, they teach you this.
So when they taught me how to draw poses, they told me like to start with a line. Like however, there's different ways to start. Here's one of the ways. You can start with like a line, like say you want your character to be like kind of leaning back. So the head would be like here, and then you would want it to be like, you'd make a line to like kind of signify what you like want, like how you want the character's body to like look, you know? And then another way, what we did is we started off like, and this is especially good if you want to do a big finished piece of a character. It's always good to have like a silhouette. You kind of, I do this a lot, but like if you, let's say you want the character to be sitting, then you kind of have to draw like the silhouette of them sitting before you draw like the actual character. So it's kind of like a thumbnail a little bit. And I remember like I did this a lot, and you just kind of follow the silhouette. And it just kind of helps like map out what you want. And another way that I learned is, you guys have probably, how do you move this down? Another way you guys probably learned is the skeleton technique. And it's where you start with the head and then you kind of draw in like basic shapes and lines to kind of show what you want the character to like be doing.
The circles are the joints and the lines are like the bones.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of called the skeleton thing, because it looks like a skeleton
with boobs.
You know those anime characters that have like the huge boobs and they're like on their tiny little waists where they should, yeah, where they should be dead.
One Piece.
One Piece,
Oh
yeah.
My
So yeah, any questions?
like
Oh yeah, yeah.
poses are